Welcome, everyone, to Redox Nurse Talk. And my name is Cindy Reed, and my co-host tonight is Doria Stewart. And we're so excited that you're taking time out of your busy schedule tonight to share this technology and to learn about what we're talking about. So I'm a nurse here in the Nashville area, and Doria is a nurse in the Atlanta area. And we have been doing this Zoom for over a year and a half because our passion is to help people with their health, number one, and by sharing this technology. So I want to just state our disclaimer first of all. So what we're going to talk about tonight, the redox signaling molecules, do not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. They actually increase the cellular communication in our body to help our cells work better the way they were intended to do. So we have an amazing guest on tonight, Polk Dillon, and he's a retired Navy pilot, and Doria will have the opportunity to interview him later in the Zoom meeting. So if you're new to this and you don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to share a couple of videos. The first one is called realredoxresults.com, and this will explain the technology as well as have some of our medical professionals on talking with it also. And then after that, I'd like to share what we call the ASEA Genesis story, and this will explain how the company got started. So let me start by sharing the realredoxresults.com, and this is a website that has, like I said, it will have a 10-minute breakthrough technology explaining it, but there are 150 personal testimonials on there from people with different health challenges that they had, and you can go back and look at that based on the category. You can look at as many as you'd like. So let me share my screen and we'll get started.
Hello, my name is Alan Noble. I've been involved in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to introduce you to a cutting-edge health technology that we call ASEA Redox. ASEA Redox represents a new category in health and wellness that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. It could not be done. And yet today, health and medical experts around the world are calling ASEA Redox one of the single greatest health science breakthroughs of our lifetime. Now, a great place to get started is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It's not a vitamin, a mineral, an antioxidant supplement. It's not an exotic juice, essential oil, or a CBD oil. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. I'm just saying they're not ASEA Redox. This technology goes beyond nutrition, it goes beyond ingredients, and yet it has the power to impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. Now, to understand this technology, you've got to realize that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells are signaling and communicating critical messages for health, healing, and repair. If there's any breakdown in that signaling, you cannot achieve your full health potential. You see, this signaling impacts every system, every organ, every function of your body. You could say that if your cells can't signal, then little else matters. Now, you've probably heard it said that we live and die at the cellular level. If you want a healthy heart, have healthy heart cells. If you want healthy lungs, have healthy lung cells. Well, as science looks deeper inside your 75 trillion cells, they've discovered a very special set of molecules called redox signaling molecules. These are the molecules that you make that are absolutely foundational for healthy cell signaling throughout your body. However, here's the challenge. With age, diet, stress, toxins, we begin to make less of these redox signaling molecules. And it's about 10% decline every decade. So by age 50, you've about half the signaling that you had when you were younger. And as a result, things just don't work like they used to. You begin to see, you begin to feel the effects of aging. A simple example. Imagine your home's on fire and you call the fire department and they're there with the big red truck, the firefighters, the fire hose. They've got everything they need to put out this fire, but what if you have a bad cell signal? They don't get the message. They don't know what the problem is, where the problem is, how serious the problem is, and your home goes up in smoke. Well, it's the same with your health. So let me ask you a very powerful question. What if? What if you could amplify and clarify this critical cell signal and empower your body to work like it's supposed to? That would be a game changer. So introducing ASEA Redox, the world's first and only cell signaling supplement powered by high-energy redox signaling molecules. And since this technology is backed by 7 patents and over 1,000 trade secrets, there's no other supplement like it in the world. Now, not only is ASEA Redox a cell signaling technology, but it also signals at the profound depths of the genetic level. In an 8-week study, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase 5 important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, positively impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular health, digestive health, and even hormone balance. It's also been shown that ASEA Redox significantly impacts the NRF2 pathway, which is the master switch that signals the production of the most powerful antioxidants known to man, including the master antioxidant glutathione. Now, 2 separate university studies showed that ASEA Redox increases NRF2 activation by up to 60%, resulting in an increase of glutathione production by up to 55%. So although ASEA Redox is not your traditional antioxidant supplement, its impact on antioxidant health is nothing short of astonishing. Now, this is just one key on the ASEA piano. ASEA Redox is much more than an NRF2 activator or an antioxidant supplement. Remember, signaling impacts every system, every organ, every function of your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. So at this point, let's hear what health and medical professionals are saying about the ASEA Redox breakthrough.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient.
They found a way to stabilize them outside the body. And you can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
To have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough.
This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body. And not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries. But now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
So hopefully you're beginning to see why this technology is being hailed as one of the most significant health science breakthroughs of our lifetime. It's empowering people to feel better than ever before. For many, it is the missing link to better health and vitality. And it's not just health. Athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength, and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a university study, mice drinking ASEA Redox for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts in their bodies as they started to burn more fat as fuel. And so amateur athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are enjoying the ASEA athletic advantage. Now, after another 5 years of research and development, the scientists behind ASEA Redox were able to develop Renew 28, a topical gel that is infused with these powerful high-energy redox signaling molecules. So you've probably heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, when Renew 28 is applied to the skin, it results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger-looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging. It also improves skin cell renewal rates and increases skin cell blood flow. We also discovered that when you apply Renew 28 to anywhere that hurts, ideally 3 applications in 5 minutes, over 90% of people notice a significant reduction in their discomfort. Now, I do want to point out that we have continued to expand our range of redox signaling products to include an intensive redox serum for those little trouble spots, and then more recently the redox clay mask, combining our redox signaling gel with an ultra-pure bentonite clay. And so headed up by the big blue bottle, this is our cell signaling product division. However, we have 4 product divisions in total. We offer a very clean and effective skincare system called Renew Advanced, high-quality bioavailable nutritionals called ASEA Via, and more recently, fun functional beverages called Cell Performance that address fatigue, brain fog, stress, as well as a vegan amino acid formula that helps your body build its own valuable collagen. Now, of course, the purpose of this video was to introduce you to our remarkable cell signaling technology. Now, we have other videos and websites that go a lot deeper into this health science breakthrough. But for now, I would encourage you to explore some of the other videos on this website. This is where you're going to hear how this technology has impacted people's lives. And some of these stories are absolutely astonishing. Real people sharing real redox results. So this is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
Okay, hang on, I'm gonna go back and get the Genesis video. For some reason it wasn't taking me out. My escape's not working. All right. We're having a Donna Lynn moment. Let's try this. Okay, so if you look at the website, you can see over to the side, there are all these categories you can go in and search for specific testimonials related to any health challenges. So now I want to show the ASEA Genesis just to give you a short idea of how this company got started and the heart of the company.
I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I took a degree from the University of Utah, managed some stores for Safeway, and then ended up going to work for General Foods Corporation. I was asked to sit on the board of a small company that had been working on a technology for about 15 years. Numerous patents, a lot of research, and they were actually producing a product using salt and water. And when they told me that, they wanted me to go on their board. I said, well, you're going to have to convince me that this is real. How can you produce something from salt and water? And they said, we have a lot of research, extensive research, $10 or $15 million worth of research.
Virtus agreed to join the board of directors.
So I went to the first board meeting and found out that they were flat out of money. They were $1 million in debt. We said, let's see if we can help them find money. We tried for about 90 days, could not. Eventually the company folded, and they actually merged it with another company, an energy company. And when that happened, that company started selling off assets. And I said, I am going to put a group of investors together and I'm going to take a run at the company. And over the course of a year, we discovered what the product was and why it worked. We developed what's called the mechanism of action.
They discovered the product was based on redox biochemistry, a new field of science that emerged near the beginning of the 21st century. Redox signaling is a function central to all forms of life. Redox signaling molecules are created within every cell of the body and are vital to the immune system and to cellular repair and replace mechanisms. As one gets older, the body's ability to make these molecules decreases, a function of aging. The product, provided a replenishing source of the exact redox signaling molecules the body creates, and in the same balance, enhancing cellular health. Knowing the product's shelf life was essential, Virtus challenged a team of researchers, including Dr. Gary Samuelson, to find a way to stabilize the product.
And finally, after months, he finally came in and said, I think I've got the product stabilized. And we started testing it and found out that he had, in fact, stabilized the product.
After stabilization had been achieved, Virtus met with a group of university scientists.
This is stabilized redox signaling molecules, both positive and negative molecules in the same bottle, stabilized. And they said, how in the world did you do this? So one of the big breakthroughs is the fact that we can stabilize molecules that you're not supposed to be able to do that. The molecules in ASEA are supposed to be fleeting. They should all return to salt and water in just a matter of minutes, and they don't. So we decided to find 40 people and create kind of a focus group, and we started giving it to them. We did that for about 2 months, and we said, let's go out and find out where we are with these 40 people. So when we went out and contacted them, we found out that the 40 people had turned into 135, and the product had been shipped to 20 different countries. But in the meantime, we had contacted a friend, and he was running a very big pharmaceutical company in New Jersey, about $10–11 billion. And he finally agreed to send a group of people out and spend some time with us and see what we had come up with. So 4 people flew out on a plane. We spread out all of the research that we had out on a table. They started getting on the phone about noon back east, and they kept doing that, and about 2 o'clock they walked in the room and said, okay, we're convinced you've got something here, and it's significant enough that we will write you a check big enough that you won't want to talk to anybody else. And I said, what's the catch? And they said, you've got to shut it down. And I said, shut what down? And they said, you've got 135 people on this product right now, shut it down. People have problems all the time, and they deal with them as best they can. You're going to have to walk away. And that kind of took us back a little bit. In fact, I said, that seems a little harsh to me. And they said, you want to work with us, you walk away.
ASEA LLC opened its doors for business in July 2009, with just a handful of independent associates. Today, there are tens of thousands, and their ranks are growing exponentially every month. In 2012, the company announced its entry into Europe, the first of many international steps to come.
My wife questions why I'm doing this. She said, you've retired more than once, and it's time for you to join me, and let's enjoy the golden years, if you will. But recently, a young lady came up, and she broke down and started sobbing. And she had a health challenge in her family that was really severe, and she was introduced to ASEA. And because of what ASEA did, she was just grateful. So I find it hard to talk about, but that's a reason.
Well, I hope it stops. Okay. I love that story. There was a part I was going to say before we did the videos, but we just wanted to show you how easy this technology is to share. You don't have to be a medical professional. In fact, most of us in the company, or most of the people in the company, are not medical professionals. In fact, the 2 top income earners in our company are housewives with a public high school diploma. So we just simply teach people how to press play, which is what we did when it works. We always have those moments, don't we, Doria?
We do.
Okay, so Doria, I'm going to turn it over to you to let you introduce our wonderful guest tonight. And if anyone has questions, put them in the chat. And then after the interview, Polk can answer the questions for you. Also, after this, we will upload this to our YouTube channel tonight, so you will be able to find it tomorrow, find the recording, and share it with people as well. So Doria, take it away.
All righty. So thank you. I love the Genesis story too. It's kind of what really sealed the deal for me when I first found out about this awesome product. So I have the great honor to introduce you to Polk Dillon. I had the great pleasure to meet him a couple years ago. Polk lives in Pinehurst, North Carolina, with his wife, Kathy. They have three children and 3 grandchildren, and one on the way, which she'll be born in August. I hope it's my birthday, the 9th. Okay. All right. He's retired after 25 years in active and reserve in the Navy as a captain and Navy pilot. He also retired after 45 years in the furniture business, where he was a top representative in 2 different companies. He enjoys playing golf, which he's in golf heaven right there in Pinehurst. And he's been a chairman of several nonprofit organizations. So, Polk, I got some questions here for you. I want to ask you, what caught your attention about this technology, and what was the deciding factor for you to experience it?
Well, my wife had written a little book, and we were in Raleigh trying to introduce it to people, and a lady there had a bottle of it sitting on her desk, and I asked her what it was, and she said that it was something wonderful to work to the cellular level and nothing else like it in the world. So I asked the stupid questions: is it like so-and-so? And she said no. Anyway, she explained it well enough that I went home and looked at the internet and found out that the usual people were saying bad things about it, so I figured out it must be pretty good.
So you thought if there was enough people saying something bad about it, then it must be something good. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So when did you start? When did you start taking the product? Did you decide at that time, I'm going to go ahead and experience this product?
Well, first, I learned about that same time that my sister had an issue with her mastectomy that she had 5 years earlier. It came back, and it came back with a vengeance. So I thought it might be better if she tried it first, because I just, I take supplements for prevention, not for a cure, and have for 60 years. So anyway, she first had a problem with her throat that the treatment had caused. And at that time, there was a spray bottle in there, and so I squirted it down. And it went away in 2 days. They'd been trying to get rid of it for weeks, and it went away in 2 days. And I said, snake oil's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
So she had bad cells, you're saying, in her throat, and she used the Redox in a liquid form that she was spraying in her throat, is what you're saying.
The treatment caused.
The treatment caused it. Okay.
Things that kind of rushed in, so to speak, and rhymes with that.
Okay, gotcha. All righty.
She had the cells all over her body, and she was sleeping 3/4 of the day. They actually took her off the treatment about that time, and so she started drinking. And back in those days, it was 2 ounces twice a day. 30
And
days.
did she have difficulties swallowing or having, as far as eating and drinking it with it? Before she started the Redox.
Before I sprayed it down her throat, she did, yes.
Mm-hmm. So that allowed her to for that to heal, her throat to heal, so that she could eat.
And she could start eating, and she drank it for 30 days. We came back 30 days later and found her standing in the kitchen with some friends, and she talked to us up to midnight. Basically she got her life back.
All right. So after having that happen to your sisters, then that made it a little bit more stronger conviction that there's something to this.
Oh, there was no doubt about it. And of course, about that time too, I heard the Genesis story and put that together. Well, the rest of that story too, I'll add, is that her daughter-in-law went online the same way I did and did the same kind of research that I did, and found the same people that I did, saying it was just salt water. And she didn't understand who those people really were. And so she talked my sister into stopping the ASEA, and she was feeling good enough. They put her back on the treatment. And so 30 days later, she was dead.
Oh my, I'm so sorry. My goodness.
That was a pretty good incentive too.
Yeah, my goodness.
You're crazy about those people that do those kinds of things on the internet.
Sure. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. My goodness. So personally for you, Paul, what has it done for you personally?
Well, like I said, I just do it for prevention. I do it because I don't want to have anything bad happen. And so I expected nothing. And but there's always something. For 40 years, I'd had issues with my back and my hip. Thought I was going to have surgery at one point. But I've done a number of things over the years to mitigate the problem. And at that time, I was taking the leave by the big bottles. And 6 to 8 months down the road, I don't know really how long, because I wasn't expecting anything to happen. I just knew it was working. It had to work. It made too much sense not to. But I realized that I wasn't taking those pills anymore. And because I hadn't needed to, and I haven't for 10 years. So whether I liked it or not, I had a result. And
well, I want to ask you, can you tell us how old you are?
I'm 81.
Okay.
82 now. Yeah.
All right. So why is it important for those people that are over the age of 65? You're around a big retire. There's a lot of retirees in Pinehurst. So why is it important for these people that are over the age of 65, retirees, to take a good look at this?
The same reason I did, to keep things from happening. It's a lot more expensive to have a bad issue happen. And it's a lot more uncomfortable too.
Mm-hmm. And do you see this as retirees also maybe, I mean, you've done this because you wanted to live in a state of wellness and be resilient to the stressful environment that we live in, but are you also sharing this to other people? And has this become like a side income for you?
Well, when I was a pilot, when I'd gotten laid off from the airlines and went back in, I'd gotten introduced to network marketing and thought it was just a fabulous business model. It really was. It just made too much sense. Little to no investment, and you're working for yourself, and all you got to do is tell two people and get them to help them tell two people, and just made a lot of sense. And of course, with Earl Nightingale and Zig Ziglar and people like that getting you all motivated, you kind of felt good about your life. And anyway, that's what got me into the furniture industry somehow or another. And used the principles, never did network marketing. In fact, I would buy supplements from network marketing companies because I knew they generally had better things than anybody else around. And if I shared it a little bit, I could pay for the product. So I thought that was a pretty good deal too. And I told people when they asked me to do the business, first of all, I couldn't afford it. I was doing too well. But I also didn't want to go to one of those rah-rah meetings. Knock me over the head, please. I'm plenty motivated. I do this every day. I get myself out on the road, and it's not a problem. I don't need to do that. But then I met a couple of really wonderful people in ASEA, and they taught me into doing it. And good gracious, what a wonderful deal. I've met so many wonderful people, and that's the deal. That's really, to me, the real deal. It's over and above the product itself. The people in this company from top to bottom make my day. And it even taught me to go into a convention. My gosh, I wasn't going to do that ever.
So can you expound on that? Because how long have you been sharing ASEA? How long has it been since you've been part of this wonderful culture?
10 years.
Okay, can you tell, and you have met Vertus Norton, our founder.
I met Vertus and Tyler and oh my gosh. Well, and one of the meetings that I was never going to go to in Las Vegas, Tyler told the story about how the rest of the story. I mean, that Genesis story is fabulous, but the rest of the story is there was definitely some divine guidance involved, and lots of coincidences that happened to put Vertus in that board. Nothing is by accident, I can promise you.
Yeah.
And hearing Tyler's heart, the ethos of this company is like nothing I've ever experienced. I had a furniture company that I worked for and dearly loved. If they hadn't gone out of business, I'd still be with them, actually. But this is like no other company I've ever been involved with, from top to bottom. I mean, you ladies in particular. I mean, I've never met as many wonderful people this attracts the best people in the world.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like we're like family and we're all on a mission to share this gift to the world, and it doesn't matter I mean, they chose the network marketing vehicle because it's the way because you have to share stories about it. You can't just put the bottle on a shelf in the grocery store and people look at it and turn around and they see salt water. They're gonna think, oh no, I'm not gonna buy this. You got to tell stories about it. So
it takes a little bit more. And of course, it's a twofold reason for them to have done it. In a regular company, which they knew very well how to run, you have to invest a lot of dollars, millions of dollars in advertising to educate people. And as you said, in first place, this product is much too complicated to do with a 30-second video and putting it on a shelf. But in the second place, in the direct sales, they don't have to spend those advertising dollars, quote, quote, education dollars until after the sale. So in the meantime, all the income that's coming in, they can invest in capital and having scientists and improving the quality of the product and everything else instead of paying ad agencies.
Yeah, or paying somebody like a football star that wouldn't probably never drink it in the first place, and pay him $1 million to get on a 2-minute or a 30-second commercial. So yeah, I love that. I see it just like you said, as investing. I mean, they invest in us as well, and we're their hands and feet out in the field, and then they're also investing in the company in reference to the science and doing studies. All the time to, find out more about what this, technology, can do for people. So I love that. All righty. Well, Cindy, I don't have any other questions. If you got some questions for Polk.
I have a few questions and maybe some comments we can play off of each other with here. You talked about the bad cells, and I've started listening to an Audible from Dr. Mark Hyman. His latest book is called Young Forever, and he talks about how bad cells, let me find it here, are floating around in our bodies. Give me just a minute. Well, hang on just a minute. And the key to managing those bad cells, oh, hang on. Can't seem to get it to work right. Anyway, it relies on your natural killer cells, and the strength of those depend on the communication throughout your body. So if your cells aren't communicating, those natural killer cells can't take off those bad cells because they kill, they can go around and it's like phagocytosis. They eat the bad cells or destroy them actually. Also, several things you talked about that I really liked. So I tell a lot of people that this is a research and development company disguised as network marketing company because we're always doing research. They're always coming out with new products and updates and just discovering what this technology can do. And it's amazing. Every time we go to those conventions that you didn't want to go to, we learn more and we see more of the heart of the people as well. So when you run across someone that maybe has a health challenge and they're not interested, or they don't want to buy it, or they say it's too expensive, what do you say to that?
Well, what I say quite often is, I'm sorry. What a shame. But of course, as I indicated earlier, there's too much proof out here that this is real. And we're seeing it more and more every day. And we've got the universities now, they're coming to us and saying, can we use your product to do our clinical studies? There's no longer any reason to doubt what we have. It doesn't seem to matter to some people anyhow, though. And so next, I'm sorry, we can't get them all.
Right.
And particularly if they're family.
Yeah, those are the hardest ones, sometimes family and friends as well. So what I tell people, and I think our system of, quote, healthcare, it's a misnomer. It's not healthcare, in my opinion. So I tell people you're either going to pay for sick care and have to treat things on the back end. And like you said, it'll be a lot more expensive and more painful as well. Or you can invest in your healthcare and do like you're doing. Be proactive. Take things that you feel like are stopping or preventing, even though this doesn't prevent, we're not saying that, but things that just get your health up to optimal levels so they can fight off any attacks that come into your body. But also, lost my train of thought. Never do that, do I? But with this company too, we talked about the network marketing model. And people think that's just a pyramid scheme. And so we go back and we say, okay, what do you mean by pyramid scheme? So I asked them to explain it to me, and they say, well, and I had a friend actually, or a coworker, former coworker from years ago, say, it's where you get people in under you, and you can never make more than the person that got you in, and they can't make more than you. No, that's our corporate jobs. That's exactly what our corporate jobs are. You've got the people at the top, and each step under, you can't go above those people. But in network marketing, you can go as high as you're willing to work and however much you're going to be dedicated to it. So it's totally reversed there. And I'm sure you've run into people that talk about that too, as well as, oh, it's just a pyramid scheme.
Sure, absolutely. And of course, my friend Ed Weens, has two people under him that are a lot higher than he is.
Right.
Yeah, but Danny Doyle. And
so there's no limit. There's no limit.
No.
Had you had this when you were a pilot, how would this have changed your life?
Well, really, I'll just be honest, not much. I did a lot of good things, and I found one other. I should, this is kind of a commercial for somebody else in a way, but about 30 years ago, I found a supplement that was fruits and vegetables without the water in pills that you could take, and I am sure that that's part of the reason why I had a brother that also died 15 years younger than me. And I'm sure that's part of the reason, quite honestly, that I outlived them and intend to outlive everybody else in my family, I think. So anyway, the product is one of the ones in the green bottle that is one of the nutritional supplements that we now have. The company, it's probably about 5 years ago, realized that some of the people with the most amazing results were those that were doing good things to their body, as I was, to stay healthy. And of course, they did it after the fact as well, trying to make the bad problems go away. And this is a great product. So they went out, they had their scientists talk to other scientists, and they developed these products that Alan Noble used to be with that company, and he said, this is that on steroids. And so that's the kind of quality of products that they are providing for us, in addition to something that is the best. If there was only one, I never would have taken that other product. I can tell you, I think I would have probably just stuck with ASEA for my entire life, because it is far and away the best. But the others are important too. Good nutritional products and the cell performance things. I don't live without those now either.
Yeah, I agree. I love the fact that I feel like this company is so well-rounded. They look at nutraceuticals, they look at the cell performance. They also do the skincare. And of course, the Renew 28 was designed for skincare, but they discovered it could help with discomfort. But also, like you talked about, you can take the redox molecules, but you've got to be smart, because you've still got to work, like you said, on other areas of your health. You've got to do nutrition. That's huge. So if you're, say you have a challenge with your lungs because of smoking, and then you try the redox, but you keep smoking, that's just, you're counterintuitive there. You've got to make those lifestyle changes, and redox is a lifestyle. It's taking the products consistently, and then doing things that will supplement and complement, and redox will actually improve anything else that you may be doing on the healthy side, that is. But I have a lot of people, and I'm sure you do too, Polk, and I don't know how you address this. They may try it and they say, oh, I don't feel anything. So how do you handle that?
I didn't feel anything for 6 to 8 months.
But you kept taking it.
Kept taking it. And of course, I've got another friend of a friend in Kentucky who felt that way. And his wife made him start taking these things to begin with. And he he said, okay, he was a good husband, and he did it. And he complained, I promise you, I was told, for a year. Every chance he got, he said, can I quit? No. And anyway, he got his checkup a year later, and they took a picture of his lungs, and they found a tumor on there. And took it out the next day and came up and said, Kip, you're not going to believe this, but that tumor was encapsulated. First of all, it was the size of a walnut, and the size of a pea will usually kill you. But it was encapsulated. It did not go anywhere and did not cause any real damage to his lungs. So that's why you keep taking it.
Yeah. And I tell people, you don't feel your vitamins working. Doctors put you on medications all the time, like a statin. You don't feel your statin working. You go back, 6 months, a year later, and get blood tests done.
And most of us are really not very good at knowing what feeling better feels like.
Right.
I didn't realize that my hip didn't bother me anymore. I knew I didn't take the pills, but I didn't realize it had stopped bothering me. Mm-hmm. My wife too, by the way, she'd had an issue with sweating, after 40. She'd had it for 25 years, and it was serious stuff. And that same basic time that I realized that I didn't have a hip problem, she said, my gosh, I don't have that problem anymore either. She didn't know when it stopped either. And it was serious. I can't believe she didn't realize the first week. And yeah. I didn't either. I knew when she was doing it. Anyway, so yeah, just believe it.
I love that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some people experience, like for me, I didn't have any health challenges. And once I started taking the product, I actually thought, like, gosh, I feel better, So, and it's just the subtleties of it, because I love the molecules that they just go they know exactly where to go in the body, where the greatest need is, and begin to, repair and heal that area. And then they move on to another area, that's how it was explained to me. I just felt like they were like a little GPS. They knew exactly where to go in the body, where the greatest need was. But the thing is that people don't realize that that you can have something brewing at the cellular level for 7 years before you even have symptoms related to it. So that, what your sister went through, and your brother, and, the various people in your lives that are not here anymore, that just didn't happen overnight. That took a while to kind of, brew before it, caused some havoc in their bodies. But yeah, so I want to do everything I can do to stay in that state of wellness and be resilient, like I said, to everything that's around us, the environmental toxins, the food, the toxins that are in our food, everything that's kind of, tends to, attack us every day, so to speak. Yeah. So
I do see a few questions. I'm sorry, go ahead, Polk.
No, it's all right. I'll answer questions.
Yeah, I just saw some in the chat I was going to go to. I know a few people had a hard time getting in, and I'm not sure what happened there. So we'll try to check into that before next week. We will have the recording up. So someone, Fritz, said, are you finding that people are less trusting of Western medicine and more open to hearing about ASEA other than family?
This is beginning to, this is beginning to happen. That pandemic was a wonderful thing, believe it or not, because it has exposed what this medical system is really all about, and what these drug companies are really all about. And yes, more and more people are beginning to see the light.
Yeah, I think so too. Barbara wants to know if you could share more information about your Pinehurst event. Do you have a Pinehurst event coming up?
We're probably going to have one next March.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Go ahead.
I just said congratulations, Barbara.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions someone want to put in the chat? I don't see anything.
Well, I was just going to add, the testing that has been done on this, and Tyler says that we'll never know how much really information that they really have, because they're just not allowed to talk about a lot of this stuff. But, one of the first testing that they did was over here in North Carolina at the North Carolina Research That's the one with the athletes that they did, and found that they could, run farther and faster, and well, maybe not faster, but farther, and recover quicker and all that kind of stuff. But the metabolites, that was the amazing thing to the PhDs there, was 43 metabolites without you doing anything, without you exercising, without getting off the sofa or whatever, were introduced to the body. Now, I don't know what a metabolite is, but they did, and they thought that was unbelievable. So it's doing something, whether you realize it or not, every time you put it in your mouth and swish it around for 30 seconds.
Totally agree. No more other questions. Dory, do you have any more?
No, I don't. This has been great. Thank you so much, Polk, for being transparent and authentic with us this evening, and sharing, a little bit about you and about the company, because you've been around for 10 years with the SIA. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
Well, when we get to this point, it usually comes down to some questions. So either you're not interested at the moment, but maybe someone's name came across your mind while you were watching these videos. Or maybe you're interested and you need a little more information. So we suggest you get back to the person that invited you and get your questions answered. Or you're ready to join, and that can look like 3 different things. You could be a wholesale customer and get the price we get, or you could be a retail customer and you're going to pay a little more. Or you could be an associate and join us in sharing this technology and making a little money on the side too. So think about it. Again, if someone invited you to the video and you have questions, get back to them and get your questions answered. Dory, I'm going to let you share about our guests for next week.
Okay, so next week we have, let's see, Dean Jennings. I believe Dean lives in, I want to say Virginia is where he's located, but he has an incredible story. He was exposed, he and several other co-workers were exposed in with a chemical in a plant. And some of his co-workers are no longer here today, but this was brought to him at a divine moment, and he's going to share his story and probably some pictures as well. So join us next Tuesday and invite other guests to come as well.
That's number 38 on Real Redox Results, and that is the best testimony I've ever heard.
Thank you. Is it 138 or 38? 138.
138. Yeah, that will be a good one. I think, Doria, wasn't it when he was introduced? Didn't he talk about I don't want to spoil the whole theory.
Spoil, don't you say anything.
Okay, I won't say anything. We'll wait, but everybody needs to join next week for sure.
You don't want to miss that.
Invite people to come too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we want to thank everyone for coming, and come back next Tuesday night. And let me stop our recording.
And then if anyone wants to